AITA for forcing my stepdaughter to pay me back after she ruined my house? Originally posted by throwaway02948 in r Am I the Asshole on April 6, 23. Updated on April 7, 23. I have changed the initial to a fake name for easier reading. An NBSP. Trigger warning. Mental health. OCD. Less than. An NBSP. Original. April 6, 23. An NBSP. AITA for forcing my stepdaughter to pay me back after she ruined my house? I, 43F, and my husband, 47M, have been married for 4 years now. We both have children from our previous marriages, 12M, and 10M, and Olivia, 18F. My husband and I dated for 3 years prior to getting married but moved in all together 2 years ago. Olivia lives with us full-time and it had a bit of a rocky start with mine and Olivia's relationship, but we managed to push through it. I told Olivia from day one that I wasn't her mom, but if there was anything she wants to talk about or need, she can come to me. After a few months, we became quite close and she talked to me about anything she was too embarrassed to talk about with her dad. Recently, Olivia has been trying to make friends at college since she just started in the spring. On-campus residence is very expensive for the college and it's close to our house, so Olivia decided to stay at home. That's not a problem. The problem is that Olivia keeps bringing her friends over to hang out but living it a mess. Normally it's not a major deal. I have OCD, so sometimes there is issues depending on the situation though, because she picks up after herself, but I recently hired a housekeeper to clean the house once a week since I've been working overtime more often and me and my husband just don't have time. It is expensive, but I cannot stand it when it becomes too messy for me, so I think it's worth it. This time she brought her friends over after the house was cleaned and I guess they decided not take their shoes off and walked all around the house leaving footprints. They also made pizza from scratch and left the crumbles on the counters among other things. They pretty much made the entire house filthy before I could even come home. Once again, the cleaning service is quite expensive because I like a higher level of cleaning quality, so I was pissed. My husband is trying to make me let it go because Olivia has always struggled making friends, but I can't let it go because of how much it cost. I requested the exact amount I paid for the cleaning service to her Venmo and she acted all confused on why she had to pay for it. I explained that her and her friends ruined my house that was just cleaned, but she insisted it wasn't her. I have a Ring camera and I have video proof of her and her friends going into the house, and they were the only ones home that day before me. I gave her 2 choices: pay for the damages or I stop paying for her phone. She's complaining, saying it wasn't her and she doesn't have the money to pay the phone bill. AITA? Edit to clear confusion. The cleaners came before Olivia fully cleaned the house, then left, and an hour later Olivia came in with her friends. An NBSP. In the comments, I'm not usually the one to discipline her because I'm not her mom, and I think that'd be crossing a bit of a boundary with her dad and me. She probably didn't expect a potential consequence because of my lack of discipline with her. I understand you have OCD. Not judging you for that. However, wouldn't a better solution be have Olivia clean up the mess? It was footprints and crumbs. Seems like an easy clean up. I do agree that would have been better, but Olivia doesn't have the same level of cleaning level of the cleaning service, so I would most likely have to redo it until it's finally clean for my liking. I think visible shoe prints are filthy, which is why there is a no shoes in the house rule put into place I set up when we first all moved in together. Also, it's considered very rude in my country to walk around someone else's house with shoes. I do understand that she is a teenager, but she is 18 and is a legal adult, so I treat her like one. I should have clarified this, but I did put a rule that people can't wear shoes in the house because it's so unsanitary and there's 10x more cleaning when there's outside shoes inside. I was raised with very strict cleaning standards, so in my books, crumbles and visible footprints are filthy to me. The whole reason I pay for the cleaning service is because I've been spending more time at work and my husband has a long work schedule, so we don't have any time to do the cleaning ourselves. It's considered very, very rude in my country to walk around someone else's house with their shoes on, and it was snowing that day, so water stains were left where they stepped. I mean, it's quite expensive to me because of the cost of living in my area. I spend anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 on cleaning each week, so I'm not asking for an arm and a limb, but for a college student who's never worked, it's a lot. It's usually a set price, but depending if the house is especially messy one week, there's going to be extra charges. It's not a massive bill, but it is definitely a chunk out of her savings because she hasn't worked at all. For previous things like this, I disciplined my kids and my husband disciplined Olivia. It sounds like your cleanliness standards are extreme. Are you seeking help for your OCD? I am. It has been helping, but I definitely still need more time to fully figure out how to manage it. No. I expect all the kids to be able to clean up after themselves unless there was an emergency of some kind, which there wasn't. She's an adult and I've been trying to treat her like one more. After reading these comments, I do realize my standards may have been put too high, but cleaning up after yourself isn't anything new in the house, and everybody is expected to do their share as well as any messes they make themselves. I couldn't even see the house I paid money to be cleaned before it was already dirty though. Judgment. Asshole. An NBSP. Update. AITA for forcing my stepdaughter to pay me back after she ruined my house? April 7th, 23. An NBSP. As I write this, I'm still getting comments on original post. Thank you for all those who have commented, but I do want to ask that some users to please tone down things they're saying about myself and my OCD. I don't appreciate people trying say I am financially abusing my stepdaughter. I understand most are upset at me, but please don't comment that I should be institutionalized, because I have been getting comments and messages along those lines. This morning, I asked Olivia to have a sit-down talk with me and to fully discuss how we both felt about my reaction as well as how we are still feeling. Olivia was quite upset at me because she's been trying so hard to make friends and she feels I'm trying to discourage her from making them. We also talked about the house and the bill situation. I told her that I apologize, I overreacted and said things in the heat of the moment, but I would like her to clean up after herself in the future. She doesn't have to cover the cleaning bill and I will continue to pay for her phone bill. As for my OCD, many of you felt the need to tell me that I am terrorizing my entire household and should pay for therapy instead of a cleaning service. I have been getting help for my OCD, but this situation made me realize I need to work more on it and managing it. I also have been getting comments that my stress may be caused by working overtime, and I've put a request in for fewer hours, as well as I've been looking for a possible vacation for all 5 of us, since a few suggested that may help. An NBSP. Reminder. Do not comment on the original posts or contact the original poster. I am not the original poster. This is a repost. I don't know. While Oop may have impossible standards, Olivia still needs to step up and clean up after herself and her friends, and reinforce that no shoes rule. I can't really see that anyone's horrible here. And while Oop is taking steps to work on her OCD, I sure didn't see Olivia own up to anything. But I doubt this is household warring worthy. I remember a post on AITA about an oop mad about sweaty footprints from socks. I guess this isn't that person? IDK about this oop. I also have a no shoes rule. But that sock oop was truly crazy. I don't think Op was wrong to want Olivia to correct the problem and face some consequences if it kept happening. But the method was wrong. 100,200 is apparently a lot for Op, measured against her income. But it's infinitely more for Olivia, who has no income at all. Whereas Olivia could take over some portion of the housework, reducing the paid hours for the cleaners. I'm glad the communication worked out in the end. But this all seemed so avoidable. Maybe Oop has high cleaning standards, but also I don't think it's a high standard or at all unreasonable to ask people not to wear outdoor shoes inside the house. I've noticed Americans for some reason find it normal to wear outside shoes in the house, and this makes literally no sense to me. I'm Canadian, so this is coming from a North American perspective. I have never been to someone's house where it was normal to wear outdoor shoes inside. And I don't mean just people from certain cultures. Like no shoes in the house being the norm in many Asian cultures. The most white-bread WASP Canadians I know wouldn't dream of wearing outdoor shoes in the house. Even at frickin' collage house parties you will see a pile of shoes at the entrance, because even drunk young people know take off your dirty shoes in a home. I've never worn outdoor shoes inside a home unless someone told me explicitly to leave them on. It's just common sense to me and everyone I know, tbh. I don't think it's too much for Oop to ask people not to wear dirty outdoor shoes in the house. That should be the norm. Edit. This dialogue on outdoor shoes is super interesting. Sorry. But I still think it's odd that people don't take their shoes off inside regardless of climate. It gets hot and dry in Canada too. Snow isn't the only factor. The part that gives me bad vibes is that the title says the stepdaughter ruined the house. But it was dirt and crumbs? Nothing was ruined, especially not permanently. It was dirty and needed to be cleaned. So much catastrophizing. I would have been upset about shoes in the house too. Grew up Asian. This has been a hard no in my house since I came out of the womb. But asking someone who doesn't work to pay for a luxury cleaning service before even attempting to ask them to clean it themselves is asinine. When I read in the title that something was ruined and needed to be paid for, I was expecting stained carpets or broken glass or something truly ruined. Dirty is not ruined. And if it is, how long can she reasonably expect her family to not ruin the house after a cleaning? Do they need to keep it pristine until mom gets home? 2 hours after mom gets home? The whole week until the cleaners come for the next week? The issue seems to be more that Op didn't get to see the clean house before it looked lived in. Again. While I'm sympathetic to OOP's OCDNES's, to describe visible shoe prints and crumbs as ruining the house is over the top. I clicked through think it'd be something more major like broken plumbing, hole in the wall, or wrecked furniture. But yeah, Olivia should be responsible for enforcing house rules and cleaning up after gatherings, especially since she gets to live rent-free while in college. I don't have OCD, but if I was paying for a cleaning service and a family member dirtied several areas before I could enjoy them, I would be upset too. I'm glad Oop is working on herself, but Olivia needs to step up. She's complaining, saying it wasn't her, because she doesn't have much friend experience. The daughter sounds like she doesn't understand that her guests are her responsibility. Maybe she didn't wear the shoes, but she needed to step up and tell her friends the rules of the house. I am worried she is not setting boundaries for her friends, and these people may walk all over her out of desperation to have peer connections. I don't think the verdict was right, and it feels like angsty teens brigaded this one. I am glad the OOP was working on her OCD, but the kids need to do their part of the household chores. I get the no shoes thing, but it's the phrase, ruined the house, that bothers me. I came into this thinking the stepdaughter threw a rager that led to extreme permanent damage. I think it would have been fine to just tell her that she needs to enforce the no shoes rule if she wants her friends over, and to have her clean if it's really that dirty. But I feel like her level of cleanliness would give me some sort of trauma if I were her kid. Saying she ruined the house over some dirtiness, even if it was legit left really dirty, is a big overreaction to me. Honestly, I'm worried for Op. Those teen years with them are going to be much harder than the occasional footprints and crumbs on the counter in terms of cleanliness. She is really going to have to get together with expectations. The number of comments saying OOP isn't the ABC, she just wants a clean home are missing to the part where OOP wouldn't let SD clean it herself and instead expected her to pay $100, $200 for a few crumbs and footprints. Also, apparently SD didn't have much money herself. This is what made her the awe. If she had just expected SD to clean the crumbs and footprints, then she wouldn't be the awe. Once again, our AITA gives the response you'd expect from a bunch of teenagers. Oh, no, there are crumbs on the kitchen counters. Better burn the whole house down. This is one I'd have to see for myself before committing to a judgment. Is it that Olivia is truly not cleaning properly and there is a visible mess? Or is it that there is no visible mess, but Op just feels that it is still messy? My nephew, 10 meters, is designated as our table cleaner when he is visiting. He likes board games, so after lunch or dinner, we have him clean the table before we can do anything. He will occasionally clean and there will still be a visible mess, and his argument is that he sprayed cleaner and wiped it and it didn't come up. So I have showed him how to get up those tough stains. If that is the situation here, Olivia is the asshole. If this is just Op needing herself or a professional to clean because that's the only way she can feel the job is done, then that is her personal issue and she'd be the asshole to make Olivia pay as opposed to having her clean it up on her own. I don't think OOP understands what OCD is because it is not just having extremely high standards about how clean a house is. Listen, I'm not sure it warranted a $200 cleaning bill, but if a bunch of kids obliviously traipsed around my house in snowy wet shoes, I'd be royally pissed. I hope they don't have carpet. Footprints and crumbs. I thought she burned the house down or something. We have different definitions of destroyed. I feel like this was more of an Esh situation than a YTA situation. And honestly, it baffles me that the BORU comment section seems to think that OOP had a reasonable reaction. Her cleaning level wouldn't be on the same level as the cleaning service, so I'd probably have to redo it to my liking. No, just no. Her cleaning standards sound impossibly high for anyone outside of a luxury cleaning service. And it was 100% an asshole move to demand that Olivia pay for the service to clean it to OOP's specific standards instead of just asking Olivia to clean it up herself. It was also an overreaction to accuse Olivia and her friends of ruining her house. That being said, Olivia does need to learn that she is responsible for the messes of the guests being over. And she was an asshole for making excuses for herself. That being said, the comments about how OOP needs to be institutionalized are downright evil. The comment about not telling her she was financially abusing her SD because of her OCD made me want to scream. I know it's not the same thing, but I've been kicked out of BPD groups for telling people that abusive behavior was wrong, and you don't get to justify it by saying that it's their fault. BC they No, you have BPD and they made you mad. That's not how anything works.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.